Welcome to CSIT 308, Turning Ideas into Successful Companies. Today's session, we're looking at target markets and the competition. So we start off by defining our target market. You may be tempted to describe your market in the broadest possible terms, choosing to include all those who might potentially use your product or service. Doing so gives you the comforting sense that you are in a huge market to exploit. Unfortunately, this gives you little genuine information on which to base your business decisions. You could end up defining the market for furniture as everyone who lives indoors. Hardly helpful if you are trying to come up with a marketing plan for your furniture store. Instead, you need to identify the particular market segments you wish to reach. These segments describe distinct, meaningful components of the overall market and give you a set of specific characteristics by which to identify your target market. Some demographic description. You do so by describing your market by the most basic objective aspects of the customer base. These details are specific and observable traits that define your target market. Demographic information is particularly useful when devising your marketing plan. Many marketing vehicles such as publication, mailing lists, radio, and TV accumulate this kind of data about the market they reach. Thus, you are better able to judge whether such vehicles are appropriate for your company. Remember, you want to define those characteristics of your target market that meaningfully relates to the interest, need, and ability of the customers to purchase your product or service. Now, geographic description. Define the primary geographic area or areas you intend to serve. This definition should be as concrete as possible, indicating whether your business serves a particular neighborhood, city, state, region, nation, or portion of international market. You look at the density of the area, whether it's urban, suburban, and so on and so forth. And if the customers will be coming to your place of business, then you need to indicate whether the location is in a mall, it's a center, is it a business district, and so on and so forth. Then some businesses define their demographic markets by climate, serving only cold weather or hot weather locations. If you are making your product or service available globally, especially on the web, you may be tempted to view the entire world as your geographic target market. Even online, there are limitations to which geographic areas you are primarily targeting as your market. These limits may be due to issues of fulfillment, like shipping of goods and so on and so forth, language, licensing, or legal issues, and there are certain limits of realistic market demands from different areas. Now, let's look at the lifestyle and the business style descriptions that there are. In the target market section of your plan, convey a sense of the concerns and interests of your customers. How do they spend their time? What issues are they facing in their lives or businesses? With whom do they associate? How do they relate to their employees and community? Develop a mental picture of your customers' entire week. Be creative, be logical, and realistic. You want to relate to your customer as a whole, which makes you more responsive to their needs and gives you the ideas for marketing vehicles and approaches. Now, the market trace analysis. First of all, look at size. You want to make sure your customer base is large enough to sustain your business, and if seeking funding, to convince potential investors that your company can grow to a size that will make the investment profitable. For some businesses, particularly smaller retail operations, determining whether your market is sufficiently sizable will be mostly a matter of intuition and observation. You needn't do a scientific study, but if you are unsure about your market or need to convince investors, you must gather data and to support your plan. Trends. Equally important as estimating the size of your current market is evaluating the trends that may affect the market in the coming years. Doing so will give you a sense of your company's continuing ability or viability, the strategic opportunities the market presents, and how the company must plan to respond to changing behavior of customers. Based on what you have learned by analyzing your potential market, you are now ready to prepare the target market section of your business plan. Using the plan preparation form as provided in the recommended text, focus primarily on these three areas: the description, the trends, and the strategic opportunities. Let's look at competitive position. It is tempting to want to judge your competition solely on the basis of whether your product or services is better than theirs. If you have invented a clearly superior widget, it is comforting to imagine that widget customers will naturally buy your product instead of your competitors, and the money will just roll in. Unfortunately, many other factors will determine your success in comparison to other manufacturers of widgets. Perhaps their brand name is already well known, perhaps their widgets are much cheaper, perhaps their distribution system makes it easier for them to get placement in stores, or maybe customers just like the color of your competitors' packages better. The objective features of your product or service may be a relatively small part of the competitive picture. In fact, all the components of customer preference, including price, service, and location, are only half of competitive analysis. The other half of the equation is examining the internal strength and your competitors companies. In the long run, companies with significant financial resources, highly motivated or creative personnel, and other operational assets will prove to be tough, enduring competition. What about global competition? Your competition may not just come from across town or even across your country. It may come from around the world. If you sell a common product, even something as mundane as hardware, you will find many international companies selling the same product to your potential customers online. If you are offering a unique product, you may still face worldwide competition. These international competitors can often sell a price below yours, even when shipping and fulfillment is added to the final price. This can be a difficult challenge, and you must be aware of this global competition so that you will find ways to distinguish yourself from them and compete successfully. Not only are products sold internationally, but services as well. It is typical for many service providers to find themselves competing online with sources from other countries where labor costs are far lower. Once again, your challenge is to find ways to make your competitive advantages clear so your value to your customers is apparent, even when your price may be substantially higher. How about future competition? Finally, in your competitive analysis, you have to do a little fortune telling. You must make a few reasonable predictions of what the competition will look like in future. New competitors enter markets all the time, and sometimes current competitors drop out. Don't take comfort in the fact that your companies have overlooked a particular product or service. Once you show you can be successful, someone will want to take a piece of that market from you. Who are your new competitors likely to be? How long you will have the field to yourself before others jump in is also crucial to note. One of the most important factors to examine is barriers to entry. those conditions that might be difficult or impossible for new competitors to enter the market. Every company can gain a sense of how best to prepare for future competition by examining their barriers to entry. If your company's competitive position depends on new technology, new manufacturing techniques, or access to new markets, outlining the barriers to entry is very essential. This will be one of the first areas judged by potential funding sources. Now let's look lastly at preparing the competitive section of your business plan. To prepare the competition portion of your business plan document, synthesize the information from the worksheets in the sessions as provided in the recommended text into a brief synopsis. In particular, you want to provide the description of your company, market share distribution, competitive position, barriers to entry, and strategic opportunities. Thank you, and see you in the next session.